Okay, so now we're going to move our blocks away from the mat and just set them to the side. And come to stand in the center of your mat. And we're going to take the legs wide. And then take the arms out. So we're moving into practicing some external rotations of the legs. Ideally, we want the ankles to line up underneath the wrists. Now, especially if you're just starting out, that may feel really far. So some things to keep in mind. If you are experiencing so much stretch and tension in here that it is really uncomfortable, bring your legs in a little bit. If you feel like your legs are just gonna Bambi out from underneath you, then bring your feet in a little. I do want you to feel supported and secure. So from here, you can bring the hands to the hips. We're gonna take this left foot here and just ankle that heel away from you, just a little bit. And then we're gonna bend this right knee and we're gonna rotate this whole leg in this hip socket. So here, notice that you may have a tendency that this knee is gonna wanna drop in towards the center. That's putting a lot of strain right here in the hip. So you've really gotta open this leg. The knee is pointing straight away, lining up with the second and third toe. So this whole leg is moving as one. The whole thing is coming around. And then as that happens, we're training the legs. Well, yeah, we are training the legs, but we're training the muscles around this leg and hip to really rotate and hug in underneath us here. And then this back leg is really straight. So what we're looking for here is that this front heel is lining up with this back arch. Okay? We're just gonna hang out right here for a moment. So I'm pretty high in this position. This is warrior two. Take the arms out. Warrior two. It's a really well-known pose in yoga. I'm pretty well lifted here. And this may be where you are, where you may be for a little bit of time. My quadricep muscles here are working really hard. Now, if you feel stable, come down a little bit further. We want to make sure that this knee stays over that ankle and that this leg is really reaching back. So we're not putting all of our weight forward on this side. Torso is right over the hips. We're standing into this leg as well. I can feel the hamstrings and the glutes working a little bit more underneath my leg here. Eventually, maybe we let this leg come parallel to the floor. That means the feet have to go even wider, right? What's really important here, though, is that you're not spread so thin, that you're not so far down that you're just stretching so much here where you don't have a stability under you. I care much more about stability. And then gaze out over these front fingers. Breathe. And then release the arms and straighten this leg. Hold here for a moment. Okay, and then again, we're gonna bend this knee, take the arms out. It's warrior two. Now, whether you're down low or you're up a little bit higher, it's okay. From here, we're gonna take this arm, this forearm, and place it on top of this thigh. And we're gonna turn this arm up, and we're gonna rotate this arm overhead. So this is our side angle. It's a modified side angle, traditionally, and eventually we'll bring this hand to the floor. But for now, we're just gonna hold here. And breathe. So what tends to happen in this side angle is that we're using this arm on this leg to just really rest. We're just like hanging out. But what we want to do is press this arm into the leg and lift up. Let the shoulders roll back, let the heart lift. And breathe. And then from here, we're going to reach this arm up, come back into this warrior two, straighten that leg. Let's go ahead and bring the hands to the hips, turn this foot forward, and then heel toe, we're going to come back to center and stand for a moment in Tadasana. And just notice how you feel on this side of the body. Okay, so some really important things to keep in mind as we move to the other side. So bring the legs nice and wide again. Arms out. We're gonna move this heel back a little bit. We're gonna bend this knee, rotate it out. So coming into warrior two on the other side. Check the alignment, heel to the arch. Check this knee, foot and toes. Again, no angling in. We really wanna open and rotate in this hip socket. Now, if you have issues going on in your hip joints, hopefully for sure you have spoken to a doctor before beginning any new practice. But if you've got issues going on in your hips, you really want to be mindful of that, right? And you kind of have to pay attention to your own body and see what's going on and where you need to be. So another important thing, you can keep your arms up for a shoulder challenge. I'm going to bring my arms down to talk. Another thing that happens here a lot of times is we tend to really overarch and the belly comes forward. And I don't care about the belly. What I care about is that we're putting pressure on the low back when we're just kind of really opening up here. So I want to encourage you to pay attention to and think about bringing the low belly up a little bit and back. And then as you do that, sit down a little bit more here. Bring it in. That's going to lengthen the low back some. And these postures are actually really good for the low back. So now we're going to take this arm and bring it here. Turn this palm up and overhead. Now, I don't know if you noticed right there, I wobbled a little bit. You may be feeling that a lot right now, especially if the heels are not grounding. So press your heels of both legs, both feet, into the floor. Press this arm, remember, lift up and breathe. Your shoulders may be working hard here. And again, if you have shoulder tension, shoulder pain, you can bring this arm up here. You can even keep this hand on your hip, okay? Who cares? You're at home. Doesn't matter. Roll the shoulders back. Press this leg down and away. Breathe into the belly. Breathe and expand in the rib cage. And then from here, take this arm out. Lift back up, warrior two. Straighten that leg. Hands to the hips. Let's turn the feet forward and heel to the feet in. We're going to bring them back in. Coming into Tadasana. Stand. Just see how you feel.